Yeah, I'm done. That's
Like Mike, I've been with Stantec since 2007. I'm a structural BIM lead for British Columbia. So I oversee 4 offices. I think it's about 30 people that I direct or assist. I'm saying too much. We work on projects both within the province, Alberta, and overseas. Well, we both worked on some big projects that we're going to get into, hopefully, I think. So everybody knows Stantec, right? It's big. It's a beast. So let's move on.
for sure. What we got? Okay. This is a project that we did in Trail. It's a library and museum. It was a full Stantec project that we chose to do in Revit. What we're finding is a lot of requests for proposals, and a lot of owners are putting out projects with no interest in BIM. They're not asking for it. They're not looking for it at all, especially in the interior. And part of that, my boss feels, is that it's because there's not a lot of expertise in the interior. They're finding that a lot of people, other than large projects like the new patient tower that's going up here and the one that went out in Penticton, they're not seeing any reason to do a project in Revit. This particular project is the library and museum in Trail. Architecturally, they decided to run with it in Revit. I don't do anything that's not in Revit, so I say, hey, let's do it in Revit. And what we found is if we didn't do it in Revit, we would have never been able to coordinate the duct system that is run in an open ceiling through all of the structural joists. And when you go on site and you stand on that second story and you look up, every duct is pretty much exactly where we designed it to be.
So this is Highland Valley Copper. We did this. It's probably my first significant project done all in Revit. It's also the first project that we utilized schedules for quantity takeoff. And people didn't believe me that we'd be accurate. And we were probably within a fraction of a percentage for concrete volumes and steel takeoff. So it was a win for me.
And this is a new building that's being built right here on Thompson Rivers University. It is the Industrial Training and Technology Center. Again, this is another project where Revit wasn't a requirement, but the architectural team decided to set it up in Revit. It is under construction right now, and I can tell you that most of the plumbing systems that were put in underground, as well as mechanical systems that are being installed now, are being installed exactly where we designed it because the contractors can't find a better way to do it. And this, we fully detailed the incoming water room with all of the valves and hot water tanks that are required. So it's very detailed. What's the next one? And this is another building that's being built on Thompson Rivers. This is the Nursing and Population Health building. I think it's going really close, okay, over there somewhere. Again, another project that Stantec made the decision to use Revit. This is also a project where we are using BIM 360 to collaborate with another consultant who isn't in our office. So we're using the cloud and hosting for Revit models and other options, and we'll show some more on that soon.
These are just kind of some examples of other large projects. You guys know Enderby, anybody? Splatson was a fancy one out there, well, for Enderby. Mike and I both worked on Comox and Camel River. It's Enderby. Yeah, Mike and I both worked on Comox and Camel River Hospital, which was 2 hospitals in parallel, which was a little bit of a nightmare. But we got it done, and it's handed over last fall. Yes. And Paul River was a substantial, I can't remember the square footage, but it's a fairly large extended care facility, all out of wood, except for obviously the foundations. This is you.
Yeah, this is me again. This is an example of the many different softwares and add-ons that we use with Revit in order to complete a lot of these buildings. BIM 360 and C4R is what we use for a lot of collaboration outside of Stantec. It's also a great markup tool. We'll show that. It's an opportunity to review the building without having Revit review it in 3D. DeRufus, they had a great mark right up on there. DeRufus is it is a database for maintaining room information. We use it specifically for large hospitals to ensure that each room within the hospital meets its design criteria and has all of the pieces that it needs. It's, yeah, huge. I mean, you click on a building, click on a room into Rufus and it tells you what it's missing, as opposed to it checks the model and tells you what's missing from that room, so you can then tell your architect to go add that, or your mechanical tech.
Right down to the light switches and
Yeah.
thermometers.
Revisto is a tool that we use for collaboration, coordination, issue tracking, visualization, rendering, and it's multidiscipline, authoring tools. And then, of course, there's Dynamo, which is a visual programming language that works within Revit, a bunch of other things. I'll mostly use it for data, myself, for data manipulation, but it also will do visual manipulation and modeling. What do we got next?
Dynamo. Ooh. So this is, does anybody use Dynamo? Yeah, any of your students? No? Get into it. Deep into it. This is a small fraction of a script that Mike and I developed, mostly him, out of a presentation we did last year at Built last summer, which was from a presentation that I did a couple of years ago at another Build conference. But this is just a section for designing a base plates for structural steel columns, gravity mostly, and we did end up adding axial loads or lateral loads and axial loads. But so this is one of 5 scripts, I think, to get it done. But if you think about it, for bulk quantities for fabrication or pricing, it's close enough. It's not right down to the nuts and bolts exactly, but it's within about 15%. So I mean, if you're trying to get a quick number, it works. And we plan on refining it, but that's in the works. So get into Dynamo, it's really worth your time.
Very powerful. And so this is an image of BIM 360 showing the architectural model from, I believe that's Brentwood Tower. And what it is, the architect or the owner or whoever you give access to can go into this, look at every single sheet of their markup and make changes, ask for changes to be made, mark it up and say, we need something here. What is this? How do we fix that? Right, without having to use any special software. This is right in their web browser. And then the next one will show, if it plays, a video of looking into the model right on their web browser, inquiring on information, cutting sections, again, with just the ability to point and click and move stuff around. And then on the side, there's a chat window and it'll memorize everything, it'll show everything that you said, and you can add pictures and notes and comments and say, what is this? How do I fix this? And assign it to somebody, and they'll get an email saying, you've got something new to look at. And just great communication tool. Oh yeah. Here you go.
This is through A360 right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I never use it. So A360, we have a close throw projection monitor in the Vancouver office. This is actually, is that Tower E? So this might be our head office, actually. So basically, you can just mark up virtually in the plan or in the environment, and it sketches it right onto the plan, so you can send it back to the team collaborators.
So you're using pencils and pens, and you're using a stylus, but you're using a ruler and a French curve and whatever
Yeah.
you're used to, and you're making those markups in a hand drafting situation, and then having it digitally recorded and sent to your CAD guy or architect. And this is Revit, so it is a digital review and exploring tool. It is collaboration in real time. You can have two people looking at the same model, making different comments, and it's all there. They get notification and collaboration. It works with all of the software that's shown in the bottom corner. It is cross collaboration. It's a visualization. It allows you to do presentations. It allows, in some ways, to do some VR, some rendering. It keeps track of all of your comment log and has a tool to maintain that information. And when someone creates a comment, they assign it to a person, and then you have to respond to it and fix the problem, and then that lives in this model forever. You import Revit into it, and then when you fix something, the picture that you took of what was wrong or the comment that you made takes a picture often, and you can see it, and then you can click on that comment and it'll jump to the live model and show you how it's been fixed. Very powerful software.
Yeah, it's like Navisworks on steroids.
Yeah, and it works with Navisworks for clashing, and it works. And here's a video of
Should
a
be a video.
review. Is it going to play? No. Of the Royal Columbian Hospital project, and it's the energy center within the project. And just to be able to look at all of this within Revit is pretty difficult, but being able to walk around and move things around and adjust it and then make comments. You can see all those like little red and green bubbles floating around. That's where someone has made a comment. If it's red, it hasn't been fixed. If it's green, it has. You can click on any one of those right from this view and it'll take you to that comment and you can fix it or assign it to somebody or review what's wrong with it. You can author a comment out of Revit. You can author a comment out of Navisworks. You can create a comment out of
And AutoCAD.
AutoCAD and everything.
Does it hold data?
Yeah, it's like a giant data. It's a database.
It holds all the comment data. It-
I'm talking about parameter data,
Yes.
Yeah, it's just like Navis. You can pull all the information you want.
Kobe, well, it's not something.
I believe so, yeah.
As long as someone put it in, it's in, all
As
the
long
data
as it
is in
existed in
Revit.
your Revit
Yeah.
model, it will exist here.
Or your
Or
other
most of-
operating
yeah.
software.
Most of it.
And that is an example of a cut of the mechanical room in RCH that we just looked at in 3D. That's what the contractor has to build from. It's a good thing they get the model.
Question for you guys. So is it the Navisworks or the
Revisto?
Feel on the civil side, but is it the Revisto or the Navisworks that can allow like your model timeline to coincide with your construction timeline charts?
Yeah, we're getting there.
We'll show you a video.
We're getting there.
It's Navisworks, and
It's Navisworks and then a bunch of other things.
yeah.
So dynamic schedules, they're great if you want to, if you learn how to manipulate them with Dynamo, you've got your career ahead of you. So dynamic schedules are anything from quantities to inputs. Like you could design your building out of scheduled data and then just tell Revit to go. So schedules, what's that? What? Yeah. I'm probably going in circles. The schedules are, if you remember that BIM is just databasing, right? And you're just manipulating it. Schedules are what we need to see things. So, anyway, so into your
Yeah.
schedules. This
push
was, okay, no, it goes. This was exported from Revit to Navisworks, and then into 3ds Max. And this is Royal Columbian Hospital Phase 1. So this was used in public consultation and owners'
Yeah.
meetings and whatnot. Specifically because you can't block brunette, you can't block Curie Street, you can't block anybody, because it's a major thoroughfare in Vancouver, right? Or New West.
So yeah, it's
And
just,
you can make this as complicated as you want, right down to single columns, you know, rebar, like we do have some examples, we just don't want to bring them here. It was getting way too long. And
So does Navisworks optimize the placement of the cranes, or is that down to the?
the cranes were brought in at 3DX Max, or 3ds Max, and then we just set them on their own little.
yeah. And then it's,
And then, so this was my first foray into 4D schedules. This was NCCR, which is the biggest hospital I've ever touched in Doha. It's not gone forward, obviously, because it's, well, not obviously, it's just a lot of money. But it would have been the most advanced cancer research center in the world had it gone ahead. And originally, we did this just by stripping 3D views. Just we were learning. I was learning. I didn't know how to do it. So this was our tester. And
this is a rendered building out of Enscape, I believe, used for a presentation with clients to show the changing, what the building would look like, and different views of inside of the building. And it's just, I don't remember, they said something about how quick it was done, but
Hayden, is this Brentwood? Yeah.
it's probably done
But
by-
Inkscape's pretty quick rendering engine. It's game engine. I don't know. That's an architect's thing. We just got told to throw it in for fluff. No lies here. We can skip this one. This is
Edmonton.
it's Edmonton. Yeah, this is Stantec Tower. This is so the one on the left is the full view, showing the podium. It's 67 stories. It's a monster. It's got a nice transfer slab on the 30th floor, about 3 meters deep.
I did that model a lot.
Did you?
Yeah. Proposals, stuff like that, no, I recognize that model.
Oh yeah. I built that model.
And all sorts of stuff.
That's my baby. So on the right, that's natively rendered in Revit, which is, I mean, not fine, but it gets the point across, right? It's you?
yeah, this is, we do.
This
Yeah.
touches to what Hayden's got in the next room. So if you want, you can leave it up for a minute, and you guys can pull out your cameras and
And that's the next page.
check it out yourself.
This is a web-based VR platform that allows us to render our product and then email it to the client, and they can pull out their phone. And if
Email
we
it or text it or
scan those, you get a, no one's gonna see this, but you get something on your phone that you can look at with Google Glasses, or just, and it's a spherical rendering at a point. And it allows you to look around that single room, so we could put a point in the camera in this room and render this room as a spherical rendering and stand in that point and look around, and you would see.
Yeah, so those are those stereoscopic.
Yeah, just the Google Cardboard
the
works well
point-
with that.
they're so easy to do.
And light,
Why are people not doing it more? Like,
yeah,
it's such a great tool to get a point across to a client.
and they're lightweight and easy to send around and look at it, make a change, and send it again to get the point across. But yeah, those are 2 QR codes that we, that for small renderings. I don't remember what buildings they were, but it's a spherical rendering. Does anybody have any questions? Were we way too fast?
Yeah, we were probably. We missed a whole bunch of stuff because I couldn't see the.
Quick question about the spherical renderings. And actually, Dan, you could probably answer this because you're in construction. Are you using it
for record tracking of the building construction process. So during construction, there's been a lot of record keeping of photography, then we went into point cloud scanning, and I know that this, the photo telemetry, I think it's called, especially with that spherical, you can put it in there and take a quick 360 shot.
Yeah, this is out of Revit, the spherical renderings.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So this
So it's not
is,
using hardware on site?
no, this is just a rendering of a room or outside of a room within Revit, or within Enscape or other visualization tools.
Right.
But it's just a rendering of that room. But we are using, we do have a camera, a 3D camera that we can take pictures with the, what do you call it, GPS in it, and you can take a picture, and we've got, full pictures of a room that we're gonna renovate, and we can look at that all in 3D and import it into our Revit models.
And there's no reason you couldn't take a site photo and then pin it to any one of your softwares for
Yeah.
future reference
Well,
or
it's-
down the line.
Yeah, that's something that we've been playing with at work is scan to BIM.
Yeah.
So using
Yeah.
photo telemetry with the drone, scanning the site.
Yeah, I think
and then bringing it in.
It's actually, so if you look into like the Matterhorn technology, it's photogrammetry, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's a lot faster, a lot quicker. Yeah, it's technology is actually advancing a lot faster than we thought, but you can actually almost automatically model your building at any stage of construction if you get in there with at the right time with this Matterhorn technology, right?
Yeah.
3D scanning is going to be outdated, I think, pretty quick, in just terms of photogrammetry. It's going to take over.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're using that a lot, actually.
Because compared to what we used before with the LiDAR and the 3D scanner, which was $50,000, maybe $20,000, these photo telemetry units are like
$5,000.
$5,000.
30 seconds to scan, and you can do it as many times as you want, and layer over each other.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
There you go. Yeah, they've got one in our Vancouver office. I've seen some of the videos and some of the pictures that they've taken out of it. It's very interesting. And then being able to put it further into the,
Virtually walk through your building at any point in time during construction.
Yeah.
It's actually amazing. I don't know if you've, there's a company out there called Multivista, and that's what they do. They basically will 3D, not even 3 scans. So they'll take 3D pictures and put it into a photogrammetry model, and you can walk through your building through construction on a weekly basis if you wanted to. But it's providing a lot of value in terms of quality control, in terms of litigation, stuff like that. You can always tell who missed the boat on what, because you can go back in your model and walk through your building and see exactly who missed the backing on the bathroom fixtures or whatever you want to do.
yeah.
So using BIM for quality control and risk mitigation.
Huge. That's one of the biggest applications right now.
Yeah, interesting. Good, very good. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Chris and Michael?
You guys obviously using this a lot for the architectural side.
Sorry?
From the architectural standpoint of combining models, like one of the keys to making these things always successful is to be able to get a realistic background for the limits beyond your project. It draws the public in, right, as opposed to just looking at just the building. And one of the things I've been doing, and I haven't talked to anybody about the quote-unquote legality of it yet, but you can technically, like when you look at Vancouver or Kelowna, there are ways to actually now extract all the Google Earth buildings and bring them into your 3D models.
Yep.
Yeah.
You guys have any, do you know, is that legal? Can you do that, or is that?
We don't do it, but yeah, we know people that do it.
Yeah.
That's
What is it,
pretty
legal?
common.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So I can answer that. Sorry, I just don't let me jump in here.
Go ahead.
Yeah, those models are available, but the accuracy of them is completely unverified. It's open source, right? So anybody that decided to model that building and put it back into Google Earth, anybody has access to it. But you only have to meet a very minor criteria to actually get it on there. And in terms of accuracy, you're talking 10 meters. You're not talking.
Well, I'm talking using those buildings for beyond your project limits, just to bring things into perspective.
It would be geometry only, and it would be up to the own litigation, or it would be up to the, your own risk, right? It would be, I wouldn't trust them, but it's available. And, you know, in terms of architectural, yeah, you know, it's great. We can put a site together with a site context, but the access to those buildings in terms of height and shadow studies and stuff, I
No, I don't use it for that, but I'm like Ben, I use it for InfoWorks, where if I'm doing a downtown revite in Vancouver, as opposed to extracting non-textured polygons to bring into the InfoWorks modeling to show a revite, you can actually bring in the Google buildings that have been flown, that have been captured in Vancouver, and I was just wondering if that's
Those
legal.
Google buildings are open source from anybody that decided to put them on there. They're, I wouldn't trust them at all. In terms of site context, for sure, but if you're gonna measure from, you know, height of building or do a shadow study off them, I wouldn't trust them at
It's
all.
just combining that with InfoWorks and 3D laser scanning or photograph. It's just for context.
Good, very interesting. Right on, thank you, gentlemen, for your time. Presentation.